Hello and welcome to the 100 Indie Artists Project. This is a music project designed for and by independent artists to help you firstly get to know some of the incredible musicians in your community, as well as get to know some insights and some tools that you can take on board with your own musical marketing journey. Tell us about who you are as an artist and your background.
Hi everyone, my name is Heather Mall. I'm a singer-songwriter from the Chicagoland area. And a little bit about me as an artist. I decided to start releasing music professionally in 2020, at the end of 2020. And I have released some things since, and it's been really fun and interesting to kind of figure out, what kind of music I want to put out into the world and how I want to present myself. And I think it's a really cool thing being an independent artist because you don't have to confine yourself to a box of like, oh, let me just do one genre, one specific thing, one specific style. And I like to think that my music is kind of a combination of all of the genres that I love and all of the genres that I grew up listening to. And I really admire lyricists and songwriters specifically. I've been writing ever since I was a kid, and I've always found it really interesting and such a fun way to just kind of navigate the world, creative writing. And so I think that when you use writing first, it kind of gives you an option to explore different genres and different styles and how you would want to say things in different ways. And so my music, I would say, is a mixture right now of pop and indie and acoustic, I guess you would say. And it's just, I like to think that my music is more lyrically focused than stylistically chosen for a specific genre. But I do love so many different genres and so many different artists that inspire me. And so I hope that my music is kind of my own combination that makes my own sound. That would be the ultimate goal. So that's a little bit about me as an artist. And my background is I have started singing ever since I was a child. As a kid, I was very nervous at first to start singing publicly, and I could get into a lot of detail about my stage fright and how I once puked trying to sing in front of a class. But that's a whole other story. So it's about pushing through it and really going after your dreams. And so as a singer, I have always been ready to perform. I've just never really known how to get my foot in the door. And now that I'm an independent artist, it's a really interesting way to navigate the music industry and to see how it all works. And yeah, my background basically is that I've been singing ever since I was a child. I've done part-time voice teaching and theater and all that kind of stuff. Anything that involves singing, count me in. So yeah, that's my background as a singer. Also, for my background as a singer, I've grown up listening to, several different genres, and so it was kind of hard for me to discover my own voice within that. And, growing up singing in church and then singing like hits of the day, like pop hits and all that stuff, and just kind of figuring out where does my voice play into this. And so it's been a journey over these past few years trying to decide, like, is this how I want to present myself and my voice? Because I do have a versatility to my voice where I could do different genres and perform different things, but I want to pick one for my own sound, So that's been really fun to navigate, and I think I finally found what I want in my performance for myself, and I hope everybody else enjoys it too.
What musical projects are you working on right now?
So I'm actually working on a couple musical projects at the moment. The first one being a cover of the song Can't Help Falling in Love. Most people probably know it performed by Elvis. It's been performed by a bunch of people, but that will be coming out in February, right around Valentine's Day, actually. And so I'm really excited to release that one. It'll be my first release of 2023. And it's a song that's very near and dear to my heart. That was the last song that I sang for my grandparents when they were both alive, and being able to put that out is going to be just really special for me. And it's coming out around my grandpa's birthday, so it's a really cool, connection in my life. And I can't wait for y'all to hear it. And so I'll be posting about that soon. It'll probably be posted on my social media already by the time this is out. So check that out, pre-save, you know, all that independent artist stuff. Go check it out. It'll be on YouTube, all that stuff, all streaming services. And then after that, I have another project coming out, and I have talked about this song before in some of my virtual concerts that I've done, and it's called A Moment of Beauty. It is my favorite song that I've ever written, and I have listened to it, the demo version of it at least, multiple times just because I'm really, really excited about this one. And it's one of my proudest works, and I just cannot wait to share it with the world. And I'm hopefully making a music video, and we're getting that in the works. But yeah, it's such a special song, and I'm working on it with my friend Julian, and he's helping with the production, and he's incredible, and he's really helped elevate the song to what I knew it could be elevated to. And it's just, it's really in the direction that I kind of want to go in as an artist, and it's got this mixture of piano and strings, and I love a good string section, and it's just a really solid piece of work that I'm really proud of. And that will be coming out between March, end of March, and early April. I don't have a definitive date for it yet, but that is in the works, and I am so stoked to be sharing it. And yeah, I could talk about it all day. That song is inspired by some of my favorite characters in certain situations, and I've come up with a way to kind of make it its own story for like music video purposes, and just to kind of give a new life to what I was writing. And it's something that's going to be really cool to watch come to life, really. And yeah, I cannot wait to share that one with you. That one's called A Moment of Beauty. And then after A Moment of Beauty, I have another song coming out called From You to Me, and that one will be out probably early summer, May-ish, maybe May or June. And that one is also a really fun song, and it's not fun in the aspect of like, you know, it's basically, okay, let me explain. It's a breakup song, but set with like a happy pop feel. I like to kind of address those things and not make it so solemn or sad, and just kind of, you know, help people get through something like that with more of an energetic type of feel to the song. And that song is basically about closure that you never got from something. It could be a relationship, a friendship, whatever, but it's just really about, oh, if you had done this, I would get closure. And then you're kind of, the song is basically to help you realize that you don't need the closure from somebody else. You kind of have to do that for yourself. And so when I was writing that song, I was in a complete writer's block moment, and I just could not write anything. And I had sent a message to a couple of my friends, and I was like, I cannot come up with anything right now. This is just awful. I was like staring at my wall for 3 hours. And then I sat down and just literally took a notepad and a pen, and I was like, I gotta come up with something. And so I came up with the idea of like, oh, if you, from you to me, like, this is what I wish you would have done or said. And then I wrote it all down, and then it became a song. So it's really interesting to watch the songwriting process after it started, and to look back and see how you've changed as a songwriter over time, and how you've developed and gotten better and learned different techniques. And it's really cool. And yeah, so those are some of the things that I'm working on this year. I also am working on getting more live shows, and yeah, so stay tuned if you want to see those things. Follow me on social media. My name is Heather Mall Music on, I think, everything I have, except YouTube might just be Heather Mall. But yeah, so check out Heather Mall Music on Instagram, and I'm on TikTok, but I barely go on there because it's very distracting. But yeah, so check me out on there, and you'll see more updates.
Where do you feel that you're at in your musical journey right now, and where would you like to get to?
Well, with my musical journey right now, I feel like I'm still at the very beginning, and I have a long way to go, but I think I'm in a good place with the musical journey. And, you know, I started this journey at the end of 2020, right out of college, and, you know, pandemic. I had no idea what I was doing, and I didn't really know how to get my own music out there, because, you know, they don't really tell you that in school when you're studying music. They don't kind of teach you how to be an independent artist. So it's a lot of figuring things out on your own and learning from mistakes and experiences. And, you know, there's a bunch of scams out there that you have to watch out for, and just kind of really make informed decisions based on reading about things, and then also just contacting other independent artists and seeing what they've done and what has worked for them and what they've been through and what hasn't worked for them. And so I think it's really important to establish some sort of community and friendship within the music industry and other artists that you know, or other musicians that you know that have experienced these things, because then it could really help you out, and then you could also maybe help them out. You never know. And so, yeah. But the industry it's still fairly new to me. I'm still figuring it all out as I go, as I always will be. And you know, where I am right now and where I would like to get to, ideally I would love to have a larger fan base, a larger group of listeners for my music. Right now I have an amazing support system, and I have incredible friends and family that listen to my music and share it, and, you know, try to get the word out there. And I think it would be so amazing just to reach such a broad audience, and, you know, have my music inspire as many people as it can. That's basically all I've ever wanted to do, was to inspire people or to help people through what I can do and know best, which is singing. And if a song can make somebody feel good, or if it could make them, or if it could resonate with a person on a situation that they're going through, and they can look at it in a healing type of way, or anything that really just, like, it could remind them of somebody, it could bring up their spirits for a day, you know, anything like that. That's what I want to be for someone. I want to just be able to be there through my music and just be with them along their journey through life, you know? So that's a part of the music industry that I really want to reach more of. And I think that, you know, like, really down the road, I would love to obviously be on a tour or anything like that, anything to spread music and happiness and love and anything that will resonate with a crowd. So I would love to do more of that as an artist, and I would love to make albums and more music videos. Anything that I could get my hands on creatively, I would love to do. So yeah, being an independent artist, it's you have to really choose where your budgets and your money goes to. So it would be a really awesome place to be in, where I wouldn't, like, have to worry about that. But that is definitely a goal of mine. So definitely reaching a broader audience and getting more music out there and consistently making more music. But yeah, otherwise I'm happy with where I'm at right now. But of course there's always room for improvement, and there's nowhere but up, basically, is what I like to tell myself.
What do you love most about being an independent artist?
The thing I love most about being an independent artist is honestly the complete creative freedom that you have when creating music and writing and performing and anything really in the aspect of creation. You don't have somebody telling you exactly, like, oh, we need this or this or this or this, whatever. And I think that's really important, that you are able to do what you want, basically. But, you know, that comes with a whole other set of things that you have to deal with, and, like, how you're going to get that out there and how this is going to happen, whatever. But I think that is the most important aspect of being an independent artist, is that you have control over what you do and who you work with, and the collaborations you do are usually really amazing when you're working with other artists that are also independent, because you're just starting from a place of complete love and passion for music, and it's not like a forced feeling, because this is genuinely people who want to create something and want to put their love of music out into the world through their own eyes. And I think that's one of the coolest things ever.
What do you find the most challenging about being an independent artist?
Well, there are quite a few challenges regarding being an independent artist. Most of all, I would say, are the expenses and reaching a wider audience and being basically your own team of people. Because, when people have deals and stuff like that, they have a bunch of people working with them to do marketing and ads and all that kind of stuff and just getting the word out there. But essentially, you have to do all this by yourself, and that can be very daunting and confusing, and it could feel like you're stuck and you don't even know where to begin or where to go from where you're at. So that is a big challenge of being an independent artist, and that's how you kind of have to navigate and learn from experience when releasing different music and seeing, oh, what can I do better this time, or what can I do different to make this a better outcome. And it's really just a whole learning process the whole entire time. And then back to the first one that I mentioned would be expenses. It is expensive to produce certain music that you want to come out with, and getting your music out there on different streaming services costs money, and it costs money to, pay people to do videos for you and to do marketing campaigns and to get your songs out there, basically. And so I am honestly, I do not like spending money. If you know me, you know that. And I like to be very cautious about where I spend my money, is how I'll say it. But I don't like to spend my money unless I have to. And I've always been this way. And so I think that being this way while being an independent artist can be difficult, because you really have to invest in where you want to go as an artist and how you want your future music to be, and you really have to invest in making sure that you're putting quality content. I hate the word content, but I'll say content out there. You want to make sure that you're putting your best self forward, and you're not settling to just release stuff to release it, even if it doesn't sound good enough, if you know what I mean. And you want to make sure that it sounds radio ready, and that your music is, ready to be reached by a wider audience, and it's got professional sounding quality. You don't want to put something out there that it doesn't sound good, because then it'll be a reflection of who people try and mistake you for, and they'll be like, oh, they're not even trying, or not this, or whatever. So you want to really just focus on making sure that the quality of your work is professional, and it seems like you're at the same level as those that are ahead of you, I guess you would say. Not that they're better than you or anything like that, but that you are on the same level of creating as them. And even though you're an independent artist, then that you don't have the same resources that they do, you want to make sure that your sound is as strong as somebody who has all those resources and a whole team behind them, So it's really about making sure that you have a quality sound, and that you're putting your expenses in the places that you want to focus on. And so if you want to make sure that you have great music videos, you need to focus on that type of expense and all that stuff like that. So you just want to make sure that is you're investing in your future, and that it's just be cautious with where you spend your money, because some things, like I've said before, can be scams, and you don't want to lose money for something that isn't real or doesn't work. And you just have to be very cautious and smart about what you do with your expenses.
What has been your experience in marketing and promoting your music?
If I'm being completely honest, my experience with marketing and promoting my music has not amounted to what I would have hoped it would have amounted to as of yet. But I am reaching out to people that I know, and family and friends who have been great about sharing my music and listening and streaming and sharing it with their friends, and, trying to get the word out there by word of mouth based on who I know. But outside of that box, it's been kind of confusing and difficult to figure out how to get past that and reach an even broader audience. And there's been a couple of my songs that have actually gone out according to like Spotify and Apple Music reports, and that they've been heard in different countries, and I have listeners in different countries, which is so cool, and it's an amazing thing to think about. But it's not like being consistently played, and so I have listeners in different parts of the world, but I don't know exactly, like, are they continuing to listen? Are they following me on social media? Are they listening on this and this and that and this and that, all that stuff. And so that's that part of the experience can be daunting and frustrating, but you have to look on the bright side and think, oh, well, I actually have all these people listening to my music. That's amazing. In a million years, I never would have thought that 5 years ago, and so it's just, you got to look at things in a positive light in order to, keep progressing in the industry, because it can get negative really easily, and it could, there was a bug that just flew past my face, and it could get negative pretty easily, but, you just have to keep focusing and keep going forward. Another thing about marketing and promoting my music that can be very confusing is, at least to me it was, playlisting and figuring out how to get playlisters to hear your stuff. And so there have been a couple of confusing moments there along the way when releasing my music, but I have learned it a little bit more. And that's another thing about being an independent artist. You have to basically be well-rounded and figure out all of these different aspects of the industry for yourself, and you have to be familiar with these things so you don't get scammed and so you don't make poor choices. And I'm still kind of learning the playlist whole thing, but before growing up, like, I would listen to CDs and stuff. It's probably aging me right now, but as you can see, all these CDs and vinyls and CDs, and when the iPod came out, those were the times. And so playlists weren't a thing, and people would just go to iTunes and buy music, and that would be how you listen to your music. And it was a really simple process, and there was no Apple Music, there was no Spotify, there was no SoundCloud, whatever is out there, it was all just, oh, you go to this source, you buy it. Well, there was, LimeWire and stuff like that, but you go to this source and you buy it, and then you're like, oh, we've got the music. Like, and again, I don't know how independent artists were like 15 years ago, how they navigated the scene of the music industry, but I'm sure that it's a whole other aspect there. But from the consumer side, as a kid and a teen listening to music, it was a really simple thing of like, oh, just go to just go to iTunes and you buy the song and then you hear it. And so playlisting, like when I was ready to release music, I was like, oh, it's like you just go to iTunes and you buy it and then you listen to it. But I've never had experienced the idea of playlisting before, and I did not understand it at all. At all. And so learning that has been very interesting, and it is a great way to have your music in the hands of other people and have a wider audience listen to it. It's just about like, oh, will it stick with the listener, and will they continue to support me and follow me on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever it is, and actually wait for my other music to come out, and will they be excited about it, and all this stuff. And so that with marketing, it's, you want to make sure that your music is reaching these different milestones, and marketing can be very difficult, and you don't want to waste money, but you also have to spend it to get your stuff out there and to make sure that people have the opportunity to hear it. And, there's like ads that you can do. I don't know too much about that, but it's, I'm still learning, obviously, but, it's always a great thing to get your music out there in any way. And so if anybody has any advice about marketing, if you want to send it to me, let me know. But yeah, so that has been my experience with marketing, at least. And promoting my music, I've tried to be much better at it, and I've tried to be more consistent on social media. Again, I find social media to be very distracting, but I know that it's very important at the same time. It's like this battle of of I know I have to use it, but it's at the same time, you know. So it's been a learning process for me to continue posting about, you know, my music and my stuff like that. And I've made it a goal this year to be much more consistent on social media, and not necessarily to like have like these planned posts and stuff like that, because you know, I know people, independent artists, like they have to plan out different things, but I just really want to be authentic with my approach to social media, and I don't want to feel like anything's forced, because oftentimes when I'm looking at social media myself, sometimes it just feels like pushed or forced to make content. And I don't like using the word like creating content, because you're creating art, you're creating music, and you're creating whatever type of art you're creating, photography, video, whatever it is. It's not, I don't like calling it content, because I feel like that takes the character out of what you're creating. That's just my opinion, but I feel like nowadays independent artists are like pushed to be content creators, and that's just not what I want to do with my music. I don't want to feel like I'm forcing like art out of my brain, you know. It's kind of just when I create something, it has to be something I'm inspired by, or if an idea just comes to mind. I can sit there and like think about, oh, I need to write this, and then I write it down, but like I don't want to force anything and make it feel inauthentic. So promoting my music has been a combination of emotions, but I think overall it's been a good experience, and I've done it the way that I want to. I just need to get better at getting it out there and consistently posting more about music, because I don't want to like post about it so much that people don't want to listen. And I want to come off as myself on social media, and not some robotic like please listen to my music, please listen to my music type of situation, you know. And like I just want people to listen to it because they want to, and because they like the sound and all of that stuff. And so that's been my experience with marketing and promotion.
What has been one thing you've learned along the way that has been the biggest game changer for you in music marketing?
Okay, to be honest, I think I'm still looking for that game changer when it comes to music marketing for me. I have struggled with it, and it's still something I'm very iffy about, and I don't ever know if I'm doing it right. And it's a learning process. And honestly, I'm really looking forward to watching more of these videos for the 100 Indie Artist Project, and I can't wait to see what other people are saying, because I think it's a really beneficial subject to talk about within the music industry, especially for independent artists. And there's so much to learn, because some of us, like, we have no idea when we start, like, what it entails, and kind of just throwing ourselves into the scene, and being able to hear the experience of others is going to be really beneficial, especially for me, but I think beneficial for anybody listening to it that wants to put out their own music, that wants to create something. And the more knowledgeable you are when you start, the better. And so you can just continue growing and continue learning. And yeah, I mean, like, once again, nobody really teaches you how to be an independent artist starting in the industry. So it's all a learning experience, like life, you know. And being able to watch different artists talk about that on here, I think is going to be a game changer for me. Absolutely.
What has been your experience with building a fan base, and what have you learned along the way?
So my experience with building a fan base has been pretty good. When I started the independent artist journey and releasing my own music, I knew who my fan base would be, and it's the same people that have always been there for me. It's my family, it's my friends, and I knew that I would be able to rely on them to listen to my music and to share, because they're my support group, and I love them for it, and they're always going to be there to support my music, which is amazing. And growing past that, I think, is something that I'm still working on. But I have reached other people in other parts of the world, and it's a really cool experience to know that you can do that as an independent artist, because, you know, sometimes you think, well, how does that happen? And then it does, and it's a really awesome experience. And so, you know, things that I've learned along the way with building a fan base is that you can't force somebody to be a fan of your music. You know, like, not everybody's gonna like you, not everybody's gonna like your music, and that's totally fine, because everybody has their own opinion about what they want to hear and whatever. And so you don't have to make a fan out of everybody, you know. And so it's about reaching the people that are gonna listen to your music, that like the style that you put out, that like your lyrics, that like your image, that like how you are as a person, you know. And so I think that it's something that it's really important to look at, is that you don't want to just have listeners. You want to have people that will love your music and that will be impacted by your music. And, you know, listeners are great, and anybody that listens is great. But I'm saying, like, when creating a fan base, you want to have people that are going to be there for you, and that they're going to support you and love your stuff, you know, love your work. And I think that is it's interesting to learn how to find that, and to how you go about creating that bond between the artist and the fan base. And I think it's really important, because, like, I would love to have a group of people that love listening to my music and that are impacted by my music. And I think that would be a really special thing to have, and I look forward to growing that. And, you know, I would love to just have like a group of people that I could be like, here's my stuff, enjoy it, here's my music. Yeah, but I do have a great fan base. I don't like saying the word fan base, because it's like my friends and family, but I have a great support system right now that listens to my music and shares it and makes sure it gets out there, and I am very grateful for them.
Earning an income within music can be very challenging and often requires a diverse source of income streams. What are some of the streams of income you have relating to your music?
So, streams of income that I have relating to music, there's only one really, that it's being a part-time voice teacher. And otherwise, I don't have any other sources of income from music just yet. And, you know, I think people can misinterpret how an independent artist makes money, because they really don't make that much. And even if you were to get a bunch of streams, you're not really making anything that's livable. So the one source of income that I would have from that is being a part-time voice teacher, and then also, you know, doing like live gigs here and there is a source of income with music relation to it. But otherwise, in terms of being an independent artist, people don't become an independent artist to make money. They do it because they love music and they love sharing and creating with other people, and making the world a better place with their art and their work. So if you are watching this and you are trying to be an independent artist to make a lot of money, you are not in the right profession, because it's not about that at all. At least at this point in my career, it's not about making money whatsoever. And yeah, I think it's really important to remember that as an independent artist, that there will be when you see whatever distribution center that you have your music out on, when you see the minimal amount of money that comes from it, just don't give up on it immediately, because it takes a long time to achieve what you would want to achieve with it. And just really focus on the why of why you're doing it, and why you want to continue being an artist in the world, and why it matters more than that. And so as long as you have other sources of income, obviously, to help you with putting that towards your art and putting it towards whatever you want to do, that's what you have to focus on. So yeah.
What advice would you give to an artist that's watching or listening to this who is beginning to embark on their own independent musical journey?
All right, so to any person out there who wants to start writing their own music or putting out their own art, whatever you do in the industry, that you want to start your independent artist journey, here's my advice to you. I would say simply just never lose sight of why you want this in the first place. And it's going to be a very emotionally draining but also emotionally fulfilling journey that you're gonna start on as an independent artist. And I think it's so important to never lose sight of why your dream needs to be a reality. Because I mean, every aspect of every career is going to have aspects of ups and downs, and getting through those is going to be difficult, but that's life. And so I think being an independent artist on top of that is, there's so many things that can go through your head while also experiencing those ups and downs, because it's like, are people going to like my music? Are people going to like things that I create? Are they going to like me as a person? Are they going to do this and this and that? And there's so many things that can tear you down in this industry. And comparison, don't even compare yourself to anybody else. That is a huge piece of advice that I would give. You do not want to compare yourself to any other artists out there. Even if they're your friends, do not compare yourself to anybody else, because that will ultimately just leave you feeling like you're not good enough. And you need to remember that you are, and that your art means something, and that you're creating it and only you can create that art. And so as long as you know that you're special and that you're unique, that you can do what you want, then you're going to be in a good headspace to be on this independent artist journey. Because otherwise it could go wrong very fast. And if you don't have a support system, reach out to other independent artists through social media, and kind of build your own group of people that you'll have to talk to through these things. And there's going to be lots of emotions going through your mind, and that you're going to be experiencing as an independent artist. Because I have friends that are also independent artists, and I mean, I've told them so many times, like, oh, I don't know if I can keep doing this or if I can make it through this. But you need somebody who will believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. But always believe in yourself. But you need to always have that backup, you know what I mean? And so just always know that you are capable of this. If you put your mind to it, you really can achieve anything. It's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of time, but it's worth the wait, I think, at least. And so you kind of just have to see for yourself, like, is this something that I truly believe in, that I truly want to do? And then following through with it you don't know where it will take you, but as long as you believe in yourself, that's all that matters. And so definitely make art that you love. Don't try to replicate something else that's already popular, or don't try to replicate your favorite artist's singing style. You know what I mean? Do your own thing. Figure out who you are and who you want to be as an artist. And don't be afraid to reinvent yourself. Don't be afraid to change how you've been seen in the past. Like, it's totally okay to be whatever you want and just put your most authentic self out there, or whatever you want to show as an independent artist. And so I think just really focus on, honing in on what you want to do and how you want to do it, and then you'll be set, and then you start the journey, and then you gotta figure it out along the way, but it's gonna be worth it. And just completely believe in yourself. Don't be afraid to reinvent yourself, and find a support system that will always be there for you when you need it the most. So that's my advice to you. I really am excited for anybody watching this who is considering being an independent artist. I'm excited to see your journey. Follow me on social media, Heather Mall Music, and feel free to message me. And if you're an independent artist and you have any questions, definitely message me and I would be happy to help if I can. So yeah, thank you so much for this interview, and I'm really happy to talk with you today.